It is acceptable to use the built-in connectors that come with better quality recessed lights to affix Romex wire to the lights according to the National Electrical Code. Refer to National Electrical Code Article 410.16c, which states that luminaires, also known as fixtures, shall be connected by approved wiring methods. Also consider National Electrical Code Article 300.15, which states that conductors shall be connected by approved splicing, terminating, or joining methods. Finally, National Electrical Code Article 300.3b says that listed, identified, or recognized equipment shall be installed according to any instructions included with the equipment. The built-in connectors on recessed lights are typically listed as approved wiring devices by underwriters' laboratories or other recognized testing laboratories. When using the built-in connectors, you must follow the manufacturer's instructions for proper installation. The code allows the use of approved wiring devices for connecting conductors, and the built-in connectors on recessed lights meet this requirement. Some inspectors may require additional safety measures such as using wire nuts or shrink tubing over the built-in connectors for added protection. Always consult with your local electrical inspector before performing any electrical work to ensure that it meets local codes and regulations. It's important to understand the specific requirements and guidelines outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC, as well as any local amendments or interpretations that may apply in your jurisdiction. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years to reflect advancements in technology and best practices. Article 410 specifically addresses the requirements for luminaires, which include recessed lights. Section 410.16c emphasizes the need for approved wiring methods when connecting these fixtures. This means that the wiring method used must be recognized and accepted by the authority having jurisdiction, typically the local electrical inspector. Article 300 covers general wiring methods and materials. Section 300.15 emphasizes the importance of using approved methods for splicing, terminating, or joining conductors. This ensures that electrical connections are mechanically and electrically sound, reducing the risk of loose connections, arcing, and potential fire hazards. Section 300.3b highlights the significance of installing listed, identified, or recognized equipment according to the manufacturer's instructions. Listed equipment has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory, such as underwriters' laboratories, to meet specific safety standards. By following the manufacturer's instructions, you can ensure that the equipment is installed correctly and operates safely. When it comes to recessed lights, the built-in connectors are often specifically designed and listed for use with certain types of wiring, such as Romex, which is a type of non-metallic sheath cable commonly used in residential wiring. These connectors are typically designed to provide a secure and reliable connection without the need for additional splicing or terminating methods. However, it is crucial to carefully examine the manufacturer's instructions and the listing information for the specific recessed lights you are using to ensure that the built-in connectors are indeed approved for use with Romex and that they are installed correctly. In some cases, the manufacturer may specify additional requirements, such as the use of specific tools or techniques to ensure a proper connection. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation process, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician or your local electrical inspector for guidance. They can provide valuable insights and ensure that your installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. While the NEC allows for the use of approved wiring devices for connecting conductors, it is important to note that local interpretations and enforcement practices can vary. Some electrical inspectors may have specific preferences or requirements that go beyond the minimum requirements outlined in the NEC. For example, they may require the use of wire nuts or shrink tubing over the built-in connectors for added protection, even if the manufacturer's instructions do not specifically call for it. These additional safety measures can provide an extra layer of security and reduce the risk of loose connections or accidental contact with live conductors. It is always a good idea to proactively communicate with your local electrical inspector before starting any electrical work to understand their specific requirements and ensure that your installation will pass inspection. This can help you avoid costly rework and delays. In addition to the NEC and local codes, it is also important to consider any applicable product standards or certifications that may apply to the recessed lights you are using. For example, Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, is a widely recognized testing laboratory that develops safety standards for electrical products. UL-listed recessed lights have been tested and certified to meet specific safety requirements, which can provide added assurance of their quality and reliability. When selecting recessed lights, look for products that are UL-listed or certified by another reputable testing laboratory. This indicates that the product has been independently evaluated and meets established safety standards. Furthermore, it is important to choose recessed lights that are appropriate for the intended application and environment. For example, if you are installing recessed lights in a damp or wet location, such as a bathroom or outdoor area, you will need to use fixtures that are specifically designed and rated for those conditions. These fixtures typically have features such as watertight seals and corrosion-resistant materials to protect against moisture and other environmental factors. Using the wrong type of recessed light in a damp or wet location can create a safety hazard and potentially damage the fixture. When installing recessed lights, it is also important to follow proper wiring practices and ensure that all connections are made correctly. This includes using the correct wire gauge for the circuit, properly grounding the fixtures, and ensuring that all connections are tight and secure. Loose or improperly made connections can create a fire hazard and potentially damage the electrical system. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is always best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. They have the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the job is done safely and correctly. In addition to proper installation, it is also important to maintain recessed lights properly to ensure their continued safe and reliable operation. This includes periodically checking the fixtures for any signs of damage or wear, such as cracks, loose wires, or discoloration. If you notice any problems, it is important to address them promptly to prevent potential hazards. It is also a good idea to clean the fixtures regularly to remove any dust or debris that may accumulate over time. Dust and debris can reduce the efficiency of the lights and potentially create a fire hazard. When cleaning recessed lights, be sure to turn off the power to the circuit and use a soft, dry cloth to wipe the fixtures. Avoid using water or harsh chemicals, as these can damage the fixtures. Finally, it is important to replace burned-out bulbs promptly to maintain proper lighting levels and prevent strain on the electrical system. When replacing bulbs, be sure to use the correct type and wattage for the fixture. Using the wrong type of bulb can damage the fixture and potentially create a fire hazard. In summary, the use of built-in connectors on recessed lights is generally acceptable under the NEC, provided that the connectors are listed for the intended use and the manufacturer's instructions are followed. However, it is important to be aware of local interpretations and enforcement practices, and to consult with your local electrical inspector before starting any electrical work. By following proper installation and maintenance practices, you can ensure the safe and reliable operation of your recessed lights. Remember to always prioritize safety when working with electricity and to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or concerns. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others.